Comes to sharing my feelings with a woman.
A woman from this cast died. Nobody told the public for 6 weeks. A man who played Hercules was found dead in a car in the California desert.
Can't be too many guys driving around this valley.
One actor's daughter became more famous than he ever was. And the smartest woman on set spent 30 years trapped inside a character her agent called the Dummy.
Forward to this.
Well, we actually met years ago at the Comedy Store.
Every Which Way But Loose, the cast then and now. See how time changed them.
Which way but loose?
Clint Eastwood, Philo Beddoe. Nobody expected this film to work. A bare-knuckle boxing comedy starring an orangutan. In 1978, every executive at Warner Brothers thought Clint Eastwood had finally lost his mind.
Gonna take him up to your tree, huh?
The director of Dirty Harry, the man with no name, making a movie where a primate steals beer and slaps bikers?
They will start, if they get scared or mad, their skin will start changing color a little.
It became the 5th highest grossing film of the year. It outgrossed every Eastwood picture before it, and behind the scenes, the reason was simpler than anyone wanted to admit.
My stomach just turns to royal gelatin.
Clint wasn't acting, he was having fun. The chemistry with Clyde the orangutan was so natural that crew members said the hardest part of filming was stopping Clint from laughing between takes. You know the squint, you know the walk. As Philo Beddoe, Eastwood proved he could be loose, funny, and human, not just cool. What followed is the career you already know. Unforgiven, $1 Million Baby, 4 Academy Awards.
The tape show was a tough one, but it was a nice game, and the way it came out was...
At 96, in 2026, he's alive, living quietly in Carmel, still sharp, still refusing to use the word retired.
I think some people tried to draw the significance that I was burying my past or something.
But on the set of this film, one relationship was just beginning, one that would become the most publicly devastating breakup in Hollywood history. We'll get there, not yet. Beverly D'Angelo, Echo. Watch the diner scene. The moment Echo slides a look across the counter at Philo, that is the exact second Beverly D'Angelo became a movie star and nobody in the room realized it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a big mouth, right?
But the point is, with all of the traveling that you've...
She was 27. It was one of her earliest roles. Within 2 years, she'd be in Milos Forman's Hair and earn a Golden Globe nomination playing Patsy Cline in Coal Miner's Daughter. But right here, in this low-budget comedy, the camera already couldn't look away. And here's the fact nobody connects. Beverly D'Angelo later had twins with Al Pacino. She was 49 years old. She stepped back from the spotlight entirely to raise them and has never once apologized for choosing motherhood over momentum.
And everything was precise and angst-ridden, and it was,
Meanwhile, Clyde the orangutan was causing his own chaos. Between takes, he'd wander off set, grab food from the craft services table, and once famously sat in Eastwood's director's chair. Nobody moved him. Even Clint knew better. At 74 in 2026, Beverly's still acting, still doing conventions, still pursuing a music career she calls a dream she finally stopped postponing.
But then when I was living in Italy, then I fell in love with someone in Ireland. So then I went to Ireland.
The next woman on this list was already 82 years old when she showed up on set.
So then it's on?
But you gotta understand this.
And she outperformed every single person half her age. Ruth Gordon, Ma. She won her first Oscar at 72. Let that sink in.
Been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes.
53 years of acting, from her Broadway debut in Peter Pan in 1915 to the podium in 1969 for Rosemary's Baby. Woodrow Wilson was president when she started. She was still working when Ronald Reagan was finishing his second term.
How the hell do I know? Get off my porch with that thing. Get off my...
As Ma, Philo's sharp-tongued, pistol-packing mother, Ruth Gordon didn't just steal scenes, she hijacked them. On set, she rewrote lines on the fly. Eastwood let her. He later said trying to direct Ruth Gordon was like trying to direct the weather. You didn't control it, you just got out of the way.
Yes. Such a glamorous time.
Such a glamorous time. And I think that's the reason that started me to write it, because...
She had an Oscar, an Emmy, 2 Golden Globes, and had co-written Adam's Rib with her husband Garson Kanin. At 82, she was still the most dangerous person in any room.
What appeals to you about that period?
The 1920s, well, of course, it's a great period.
Her husband said she took a walk, ran errands, and worked on a new play the morning she died. A stroke. Edgartown, Massachusetts. She was 88. She never slowed down, she just stopped. While Ruth Gordon commanded respect from everyone on set, the next man earned something quieter, Eastwood's loyalty. 7 films together, and a family secret that stops people cold. Geoffrey Lewis. Orville Boggs. You've seen this face 200 times, you just might not know the name. Geoffrey Lewis appeared in over 200 films and television shows, but if you watched him as Orville Boggs, Philo's wisecracking, beer-soaked best friend, you'd swear you already knew him from somewhere. That wasn't acting.
Nice day for a drive, huh?
That was a man who'd spent 40 years becoming the most familiar stranger in Hollywood. He was Eastwood's most frequent collaborator outside the director's chair.
No, I had done a Western, which was my first movie, and he saw...
High Plains Drifter, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, both Every Which Way films. 7 films together. Here's the fact that stops people cold.
She looked like a chaise lounge to me. She didn't take my breath away, she put it back.
Geoffrey Lewis is the father of Juliette Lewis, the Oscar-nominated actress from Cape Fear and Natural Born Killers. 9 children. She was the one who carried his gift forward. And almost nobody ever put the last names together. He died of a heart attack in 2015. He was 79. Juliette posted on Instagram that night, "He loved us so. I am forever my father's daughter." But while Geoffrey Lewis spent decades as Eastwood's trusted sidekick, the next man played one of the most notorious villains of the 1970s, and he leaned into it so hard, he built a business around it. Bill McKinney, Dallas, Squeal Like a Pig. Say those 4 words in any room in America and watch every face change. That is Bill McKinney, burned into cinema in 1972 as the Mountain Man in Deliverance.
Do you see that? Sorry. 2 tattoos.
A performance so disturbing that it followed him for the rest of his life. But here's the thing nobody expected. He didn't run from it, he ran toward it. His personal website was literally squeallikeapig.com.
This river don't go to Antry. You done taken a wrong turn. See, the Cherry River don't go nowhere near Antry.
On the set of Every Which Way But Loose, McKinney played Dallas, the sneering leader of the Black Widows motorcycle gang. He was already deep into his partnership with Eastwood. 7 films together, always the heavy, always convincing. But on set, he was the opposite.
Boy, you are lost, ain't you?
Well, hell, I guess this river comes out somewhere, don't it?
Quiet, professional, and funny enough that the crew loved working with him. Before acting, McKinney was an arborist, a tree surgeon, cutting branches in the California sun to pay for classes at Lee Strasberg's Actors Studio. That journey alone could be a film.
And it was a replacement. I don't think it means anything that people have heard that line.
He died of esophageal cancer in 2011. He was 80. He'd finished a Doritos commercial 2 weeks earlier, working right to the end. And here's something I want you to hold in the back of your mind, because we're getting closer to the story that opened this video.
It's like I said to Annabeth on your wedding day. I said, you got yourself a real old school man there, honey.
While Bill McKinney was playing a villain on screen, something far more real and far more damaging was happening between 2 people on this set. That story is coming. James McKeechan, Herb. Nobody on this set knew that the man playing the cop had almost died before he ever became an actor.
That's funny, but don't give up your day job.
Oh, come on, Big Al. Hey, let's have some fun. You want to go someplace?
James McKeechan was 17 when the poster of Uncle Sam convinced him to enlist. In Korea, his entire unit was ambushed. He was shot, left for dead. 1 other soldier survived. He didn't receive a Purple Heart because the Army lost his records.
That cough medicine of his. And don't you think I don't know about that either.
That was his first life. After Korea, he became a fireman, then a police officer in Hackensack, New Jersey. Then, under the name Jimmy Mack, a record producer who wrote music for Otis Redding. Only then did he act. As Herb, he played the straight-laced cop with dry authority, and nobody in the audience knew they were watching a man who'd already survived more than most characters in any Eastwood film.
Get tin cans, silk stockings, and all items made of rubber and...
Tinafly, 18 Perry Mason movies, 4 films with Eastwood. He didn't receive his Purple Heart and Silver Star until 2005, more than 50 years after the ambush that nearly killed him.
Dude, honey. Don't be doing me. I will be back when I get back, if I come back. You know what I mean?
He died in January 2025. He was 94. A man who lived 4 lives and made every one of them count.
Because whenever I took a picture of something like that, they always say smile, you know.
Meanwhile, the woman from the cold open, the one whose death was hidden for 6 weeks, she was standing on this same set, falling in love with the most powerful man in Hollywood. And nobody could see what was coming. Which story has surprised you most? Geoffrey Lewis being Juliette's father? Bill McKinney turning his most infamous scene into a .com? Gregory Walcott, Putnam. He starred in the worst movie ever made, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Like you. When we're a kid, we're gonna this over in a hurry and take care of you here.
Gregory Walcott's lead role in Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space, crowned by critics as the most spectacularly awful film in cinema history, embarrassed him for decades. He wouldn't talk about it. He'd change the subject. Then one day he realized something. 100 westerns, 100 guest spots, 100 good performances, and the only film anyone remembered was the terrible one. That strange immortality followed him onto the set of Every Which Way But Loose, where he played Putnam, the no-nonsense police captain. Steady, dry, professional. He was also part of Eastwood's loose repertory company, the Iger Sanction, dozens of westerns.
Westerns out there were going to shoot in Italy and Yugoslavia. And, but Dan got sick and he couldn't go. So they were desperate to hire a big husky actor.
After filming Wrapped, Walcott kept working, kept showing up, never became famous, never stopped being employed. There's a version of a Hollywood career that doesn't involve stardom, scandal, or tragedy. Gregory Walcott lived it. He died in 2015. He was 87, natural causes. Remembered, and not for the reasons he ever expected. Not everyone from this film had the luxury of a gentle ending. The next man's story ends on a dirt road in the California desert, and it's the youngest death on this entire list. Dan Vadis, Frank. A passerby noticed a car with its engine still running on a dirt road outside Lancaster, California, June 1987. Inside was Dan Vadis, a syringe and a spoon beside him, heroin and alcohol. He was 49 years old. That's where this story ends, but where it begins is the part nobody believes. Born Constantine Daniel Vafiadis in Shanghai, China, 1938, the son of Greek immigrants who had fled the island of Chios. He joined the U.S. Navy, became a bodybuilder, toured with Mae West's Muscle Man Revue. Then Italy called, and he crossed the Atlantic to become Hercules. Literally, starring in sword and sandal epics throughout the 1960s. The 10 Gladiators, Triumph of Hercules, 6'4", curly brown hair, blue-green eyes. When the genre collapsed, he came home and became a recurring face in Eastwood's films. High Plains Drifter, The Gauntlet, Every Which Way But Loose. On set, he was the gentle giant, quiet, well-liked, never causing trouble. From Shanghai to Hercules to a dirt road in the Mojave. Whatever happened between the last day of filming and that desert road, nobody who knew him ever fully explained. Across the set from Dan Vadis, another actor was hiding something, and what Hollywood did to her is one of the cruelest stories in this entire film. Joyce Jameson, Sybil. There were 2 Joyce Jamesons. She said so herself. The real one and the character my agent and I call the dummy. For 30 years, the camera showed you one version. The bubbly blonde, the ditzy bar girl, the comic sex pot. That was the only Joyce Jameson Hollywood wanted to see. The real one held a degree in theater arts from UCLA. Everyone who knew her off screen called her deeply intelligent, intensely well-read, and nothing like the women she played. She was Robert Vaughn's longtime girlfriend. She played Skippy on The Andy Griffith Show. She appeared alongside Elvis in Frankie and Johnny. She worked with Eastwood in The Outlaw Josie Wales and again in this film. But the roles never changed. The industry never let her out of the box it had built around her beauty. She struggled with depression, insomnia, isolation. In January 1987, the same year Dan Vadis died on that desert road, Joyce Jameson took her own life at her home in Burbank. Sleeping pills. She was 54. 2 deaths in the same year, both from this cast, both alone. And neither one got the headlines they deserved. Only 2 people on this set knew what was really happening behind the scenes, and one of them was about to lose everything. But first, 3 more faces. Walter Barnes, Tank Murdoch. Before he ever faked a punch on camera, Walter Barnes had been throwing real ones. Born in 1918, offensive guard for the Philadelphia Eagles before Hollywood ever came calling.
Yeah, looks like you've had a go at it already. Sure that face won't hurt too much to fight?
A real football player, not the movie kind. He brought every ounce of that physicality onto the set of Every Which Way But Loose. As Tank Murdoch, the towering bare-knuckle rival who goes toe-to-toe with Philo in the film's climactic fight, Barnes was 60 years old and still looked like he could flatten everyone in the room. The fight choreography was minimal. He knew how to move. The stunt coordinator later said the hardest part was convincing Barnes to pull his punches because his instinct was still to connect. He went on to work in westerns through the 1980s. Quiet roles, steady paychecks. The kind of career that doesn't make magazines but keeps a family fed for decades. He died in 1998, complications from diabetes. He was 79. At the opposite end of Hollywood's tough guy spectrum, the next man built the exact same kind of career. Reliable, unglamorous, and longer than anyone expected. Roy Jensen, Woody. Football came first for him too. Roy Jensen played in the Canadian Football League before Hollywood found a use for his particular brand of intimidation. At 6 feet 2 inches and built like a problem you cannot solve, he became one of the most reliable heavies in 1970 cinema.
I'd like to take you in, buy you a drink of whiskey. Sam, we've had some good times in there. You remember when...
As Woody, the burly enforcer in the Black Widows gang, he brought the same physicality that landed him roles in Chinatown, Soylent Green, and the outlaw Josie Wales. Always the guy you didn't want to see standing in a doorway. On the set of Every Which Way But Loose, Jensen spent most of his downtime playing cards with the stunt crew. He never chased stardom. He showed up, sold the scene, and went home. 4 decades of work, one tough guy role at a time. Cancer took him in 2007. He was 80. Quietly, which is not how you'd expect a man like that to go. One actor from this film managed to appear in both movies and never once be recognized outside of the biker gang Leathers. And his on-set relationship with Clyde the orangutan almost shut down production. John Quade, Choya.
Hey, Meadow! It's us! I ain't talking to you, Meadow. I'm reading your death warrant.
Over 100 credits. That's the number John Quade stacked across his career without ever becoming a household name. As Choya, the snarling biker gang leader, he was Eastwood's perfect comic antagonist.
Oh, now that's real cute. Real cute. We're gonna kill you slow, boy. Take maybe a week.
Always chasing Philo, always losing, never learning. The audience loved hating him because Quade played the role with just enough self-awareness to make every humiliation funny. Here's the behind-the-scenes detail that nearly caused a production shutdown. During filming, Clyde the orangutan developed a particular dislike for Quade. Whether it was the leather jacket, the sunglasses, or something only a primate could sense, every time Quade walked onto set, Clyde would bare his teeth and refuse to cooperate. The animal trainers had to rearrange the shooting schedule to keep them apart. Quade later joked that getting rejected by an orangutan was the most honest review he ever received. He wasn't flashy, he was dependable. 100 credits. That's its own kind of monument. A heart attack took him in 2009. He was 71. Younger than you'd expect for a man who seemed built to last. We're nearly at the end now. 2 more quiet goodbyes, and then the story I've been holding back since the first frame of this video. Hank Warden, trailer court manager. Born in 1901. Let that number land for a moment. Before Hollywood ever found him, Hank Warden was a rodeo bronc rider, a real one, not the movie kind. Then John Ford put him in westerns, and once Ford had him, he never let go. The Searchers, The Alamo, McClintock. Over 100 roles, nearly all of them laconic, dusty, and quietly funny. If you've ever watched a Ford film and noticed the tall, weathered character hovering at the edge of the frame with perfect timing, that was Hank. In Every Which Way But Loose, he played the trailer court manager, a brief cameo, folksy wisdom. He was 77 and had been working in front of cameras for 4 decades. On set, he told stories about working with John Wayne that left the crew speechless. He died in 1992. He was 91, natural causes. A cowboy who rode the whole trail and never once fell off. One more, then the story you've been waiting for. William O'Connell, Elmo. William O'Connell never chased a spotlight that wasn't aimed at him. As Elmo, the dim-witted biker in the Black Widow's crew, he was the gang's comic relief. Bungled schemes, explosive temper, never once getting it right. Like James McKeechan, he was a Korean War veteran. He racked up television guest spots across 4 decades. Star Trek, Barnaby Jones, Days of Our Lives. Small parts, steady work, the kind of career that doesn't make a single headline but keeps an actor employed past the age when most people quit. He died in 2024. He was 94. A full life measured not in fame, but in decades of showing up. And now the story I opened with, the one every transition in this video has been pointing toward, the one I've been holding back because it needed everything before it to land the way it deserves. Sondra Locke, Lynn Halsey Taylor.
Such an exit, I wouldn't imagine that Philo Beddoe would have anything else to do with this girl. But they've worked it out very cleverly. And
a girl from Shelbyville, Tennessee. Mother worked in a pencil factory, won a nationwide talent search. Her first film earned her an Oscar nomination. She was 24. Then she met Clint Eastwood, 14 years together, 6 films.
One thing I want to know about a story like that.
What?
Who let that poor guy out of the trunk?
On the set of Every Which Way But Loose, the crew said they were inseparable. When Eastwood ended it in 1989, Locke says he changed the locks, moved her belongings to storage. She sued. During the legal battle, breast cancer, a double mastectomy. Eastwood, she wrote, offered no support. The settlement included a deal at Warner Brothers. She pitched 30 projects, every one rejected. She called it a sham. Her career never recovered. She died alone in 2018, cancer that had spread to her bones. She was 74. Nobody told the public for 6 weeks. The news broke on opening day of Eastwood's The Mule. Draw your own conclusions. 15 faces, 13 gone. 2 survive, Clint Eastwood at 96 and Beverly D'Angelo at 74. The youngest death, Dan Vadis, alone in a car at 49. The cruelest, maybe Joyce Jameson, trapped inside an image that was never hers. The most public, Sondra Locke, whose final headline landed on the worst possible day. Team Clint or Team Sondra? Drop it in the comments. That relationship divided Hollywood for a decade, and 40 years later, it still divides people today.